right, and we are live. Get a sip of my water, get my radio voice going, and as you guys roll in, please remember to click the like down below. Need to shave here later. Need to shave later today. All right, hey everybody. It's Jason Blaha here, representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness. And see who we get in here. It got pretty lively yesterday. We had a lot of people come in yesterday. We'll see if we get the same thing today. See if we get the same thing. All right, wait a minute, get some people in. I wonder why it takes a couple minutes to do this. I guess everyone has to see the notifications. For the record, I don't know how any of that works. I don't use YouTube the same way normal viewers do. I do everything through Creator Studio. So I'm not really that familiar with the YouTube homepage. So we got people in here. Let's get some questions, guys. Come on. I've mostly just been doing client stuff today, working on some guitar stuff. No, I'm not going to fight with anyone. Baser, I have no interest in fighting with anyone. It's not necessary. I just keep calling out the nonsense. You know, and that's the thing to remember. Anyone who gets on a high horse, it's been my experience, the vast, overwhelming majority of people who get on their high horse about being natty, like they have the superiority complex about it. In my life experience, the majority of them are on gear. It's a front they put on. Colin, I'm always like that. I take a half day off on occasion if I have it planned. Right? Does a good morning carry over to squat or deadlift? Marco, that's subject to a great deal of debate. I personally think it carries over to the squat better if you are a power squatter. Now, if you're an Olympic squatter, it might actually carry over to your deadlift a little better, but it carries over to both, right? Are you currently bulking or cutting? I was trying to recomp or at least lean bulk, James, but as I've said in the vlogs, I'm just not force feeding at this point because I don't want to gain body fat. I'm trying to eat fairly clean. I'm tired of trying to force feed in this heat, so I'm just getting the food in that I can. Colin, it's really irrelevant to your guys' results to know how many hours a day I work. Baser, I don't know what that means. You're going to have to explain to me specifically what a sighted good morning is. Like anytime a lifter uses the word sighting, I assume it's where you're injecting your shit. That's what it means. So you see the problem with using that word? Are you injecting something in your lower back with the good mornings? So why are we calling it sighted? Do you drink your pot of coffee even when you are sick? Why wouldn't I? That question doesn't make any sense. Yeah, if I'm not feeling well, I really want that caffeine addiction headache to kick in on top of it. You know, how long are your average training sessions? About 90 minutes right now total. I think he means seated SSB good mornings. Those are great for your thoracic spine. All right. No, I don't have 100 plus videos ready right now. I've got about approximately 65 videos that have not been uploaded. You know, just a ballpark. Not 100 plus. There used to be a period of time where I had 100 plus. Not these days. That's not how I roll these days, R. Kelly fan. You gonna type some R. Kelly lyrics for us again? R. Kelly's the one who peed on that girl, right? Greg's, I am not going to discuss that. It's like I say every time you guys ask, or ever and ever and ever. well, not forever, just the last year. I'm not going to discuss in public when or where my next meets are going to be. How can I make my back tight squatting? Get it tighter. That's like asking me, how do you close your hand? Well, you close your hand. What do you mean? Get your back tighter. Lock everything in. Get your scapula down and back. Coffee is not a diuretic, sickening pump. That is a debunked myth. Coffee is not a diuretic. I saw someone bring a Swiss bar to the gym. Everyone was asking them to use it. Okay. Hey, coach, how do I do a good morning? Radco, I have tutorials on this channel on how to do it. Do a search. Type in how to, go to my channel search engine, right? All YouTube channels have a search engine on their main page. Go to my search engine for my channel and type in how to good morning. I got you, bro. Jason, when you do a podcast with Revival Fitness, he has never reached out to me, so I have no plans at all with him. Jason, how important is the arch for bench pressing? I'm going to say it's pretty important. Right? Greg's, I don't mind subtle trolls. I mean, you just asked me where my next meet was, and you know I don't discuss that. I don't know that you're that subtle, brother. Gradco, yeah, just go do the channel search, man. You're good to go. How much melatonin do you take each night? 3 milligrams. 3. It keeps the dreams tolerable and still gives a good sleeping response. Yeah, Colin, that doesn't make any sense. I guess the Smith machine. Oh, good question. I guess that a Smith machine is one of the last items you would consider investing your money in. Yeah, it's really expensive for a boat anchor. However, if your gym had one available, do you find it utilized as fine? I would not utilize it at all. If you gave me one for free and gave me a building to put it in, right, here at my home, I wouldn't use the useless hunk of shit. That's how I feel about the Smith machine. It's one of the things that I really and truly cannot find a use for, and I don't understand why anyone uses it. Okay, thoughts on going a month eating only Chipotle for my diet? Well, why would you do that? I mean, there's nothing wrong with Chipotle, but why would you subject yourself to that sort of thing? Like, what would be the benefit or reason behind that? In fact, it seems like a lot of hassle to only go to Chipotle. What are you going to do if they're not open when you need a meal all of a sudden? Cambridge Swiss bar, good to buy for bench and rows. Yeah, it's a decent. I have one. Is the Sumo a good accessory for conventional pullers? Yeah. Does microwaving frozen veggies count as cooked vegetables? Would be something, but yes, it absolutely counts. How would you recommend becoming a strength coach like yourself? I don't know. Learn everything you can and become a strength coach. I use a Smith machine for barbell push-ups, only use for it, right? I mean, you could use it to do pull-ups or inverted rows on, right? Just fix the bar. The main thing, you don't want to move that bar on it. That's where it becomes a problem. Anything with a fixed bar to where you just have the bar where it doesn't move is probably okay on there. Jason, will you also learn some dire straits on the guitar? I thought I have already played some dire straits for you on my channel on my guitar. Go back and check. I did a little bit of Sultans of Swing, which is one of my favorite songs. I listen to your videos every night for ASMR to help me sleep. Well, I'm glad to hear that, man. I know I got that soothing voice, right? B. Rice says, or is it Bryce? I'd like to thank you, Jason, for consistent content. I've been going through a tough time recently. Your content has kept me sane. You know what, man? I'm glad to hear that I've helped you through those tough times. And here's the thing, brother. I want you to remember, tough times don't always last, man. Right? They're temporary. They're temporary. Is a deload every 4 to 5 weeks overkill? I think so. 41-year-old powerlifter with a stressful corporate job. Yeah. Hey, I recommend learning some finger picking dire straight stuff. It's awesome. The Coomer. I tell you what I'm gonna do, brother. I'm gonna build a time machine right now, and I'm gonna go back in time and upload in the past for you a video of me finger picking some dire straits. What you think about that? It just happened. Now go back in time and do a channel search. I just created it back in time and did that at your request. I'm that good. Coach, does the carnivore diet turn your blood into butter? Well, that would be biologically impossible, but it's definitely bad for you. Do you like the golden era of bodybuilding? You're not a fan of bodybuilding at all. I mean, I get it. No, the golden era is not that bad. The golden era is not that bad. I'm just not a big bodybuilding fan. But I mean, as far as bodybuilding goes, that was probably the best time period for it. All right. When would you roughly say you'll get to that 405 bench, Jason? We need to have a party to celebrate. It's going to take a while, man. It's going to be a fight until I can eat more. Hey, coach, is it better to build your overall work capacity conditioning during a bulk or during a cut? Maybe it doesn't matter. I think you should build it when you're bulking. Do you think Steve Reeves was actually drug-free? I don't know. Probably not, but he could have been. New study in China says eating raw coal raises testosterone. Is it true? Do I need to buy some coal? I'm telling you, man, the whole Natty Brigade will be selling raw coal if that study really came out. They're going to all sell raw coal now based off of a single study, even if it's not replicatable, because that's what they like to do. To boost your testosterone levels to unnatural amounts while talking about being natural and singing the virtues of how pure and virginal they are because they have maintained their natural purity, right? That's how these diehard daddies are, that they're pure and virginal, and they've been washed clean of all their sins of us dirty gear users. In fact, they are sinning just by even looking at us. It makes them impure. They can't even be in a room with us. Do you think that it is worth it to I'm not going to give you business advice. Okay. I love Sultans too, and Brothers in Arms. I also want to thank you. Your recent video about body acceptance really moved me. I also lost a significant amount. Now I'm working on packing on muscle. Hey, man, that's good to hear, brother. Mike, keep improving yourself. That's it. Just keep working on improving yourself in all areas. Coach, what's the longest you've grown your beard reach terminal length, and any tips on how to make beard gains? I can't. Okay, Ratko, here's how you make beard gains. Hey, don't cut it. Right? All right. I'm going to give you my number one tip. This is the number one tip for beard gains. Don't cut your beard. Don't shave. It'll grow. That's it. I've grown it pretty long. You've got old videos and pictures of me with a longer beard, but I couldn't get away with it with my skin. I question, what weight are you currently fluctuating? Around 225, 226. What strength standard would you recommend for average people who are training or general health, the bench press, military press, bullet? I mean, I would actually say general health, like squat, bench, deadlift, rows, and then some supplemental work. Do you think feats of strength are more impressive if someone is drug-free? No. Hello there. I have a meet coming up within a week. What do you think I should do? You should have planned that months ago. It's kind of late now, Mitt. It's kind of late now to start developing a plan. Even if you hired me to prep you for the meet, that's not enough time. I'm a bit concerned that large channels like Chuck Basher are promoting all watermelon stuff. Is that reasonable? No, it's not reasonable. I've said my piece about it in a couple of videos now. I'm probably going to need to continue because they're doing that. But that's Chuck Basher for you. People want to give me a hard time about whatever nonsense they make up. But you got Chuck Basher over here who literally did gay porn. Literally. Oh my gosh. Would you consider yourself one of the best lifters in the Masters division? I don't know. I guess that's subject to a lot of debate, Mitt. That's subject to a lot of debate, isn't it? I think I'm pretty decent. Has your stance on recomposition changed recently for elite lifters like yourself? No, I don't know that it has. What age do you recommend going on TRT? Your age isn't a factor, really. I mean, I would say though probably by 40, you probably need to be on it. But really, that's a medical question. That's like saying, what age do you recommend taking Tylenol for a headache? That is the equivalent level of question. What age do you recommend taking whatever drug that your doctor believes will help improve your health? I mean, what age do you think someone should take medications that their doctors think will improve their health? I'm going to say there is no age for that, right? Take your endocrinologist's advice, irrespective of your age. What? Mike, I have no idea what any of that even means. He's at it again, and now acting like another extreme where he is now acting like a female fitness influencer with leanness, alkaline stuff. Almost looks like a cult, and that God told. Main channel, I addressed that the other day. Right? Coach, if you had a bad night's sleep the night before a meet, 4 hours, would you pull out of the meet or still compete? I mean, you're already committed, dude. You've already paid for the meet. You're signed up. Do your meet. Do you feel a major difference between training now versus when you're in your 20s? Oh, yeah, work capacity, recovery are vastly different. I have to pay so much more attention to recovery. I mean, it mattered back then, but it's 20s versus in my 40s. It's a completely different level. I can look back and go, man, I wish that I knew in my 20s what I know now about training. Like how much bigger and stronger would I have gotten? Right? Because it's so easy. Oh my, it's just so much easier. When you're young like that, it is so much easier. Like how you guys aren't all squatting 500 and 600 pounds just baffles my mind. When you're 25 and you lift, because everything just bounces back. You just recover so fast. Like seriously, I feel like in your 40s for just a recovery, you need steroids to even have 50% of the recovery you had drug-free when you're 23. That's almost what it feels like. It's just for me personally by comparison and other people I've coached and observed over the years. I'm just shocked at just how much abuse a 20-year-old, 22, 23-year-old body can take in the gym. It's wasted on the young. Since you are a coach, how much are you charging? I charge $300 a month. What is your professional opinion of physical therapy? Is it useful? I have mixed feelings on some of it. I do think it's useful, but I think some of it's a little overhyped and overrated. Where did you get your training advice when you were? That's kind of hard to answer, man. All over the place. I'm 54 and still training like an idiot, like I was 25. Somehow the brain cannot accept the facts. I cannot recommend doing that. Don't be an idiot. It's funny. Bryce, that's rough, man. I'm sorry to hear that happened to your brother. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope he rests in peace. And I hope your family can find peace after that, man. I hope that you can find peace. Mix and watch your Jason, your 10-year-old training videos are fun to watch. Cool. I'm glad you enjoy them. Why is a face pull commonly advised to be done while standing when performed while laying down? No, it's not going to be more effective laying down. I searched this Chuck Basher on Google. I cannot. Sorry, Ancient. Hey, dude, you're the one who chose to look. We told you it was the dude's gay porn name. Why you went to look at that? You knew what you were going to see. I'm pretty sure most older experienced guys are thinking if they only knew as much as they do now when they were younger. I'm telling you, dude. Oh my God. What about recovery changes over the time you've been on YouTube from the full body? Yeah, it's definitely different. I would say late 30s versus late 40s is significantly different. Hey, Coach, great office. How much does a home gym setup usually cost? Is it worth the investment? I can't answer that for you because a home gym can vary tremendously. I've got about 30 grand in mind. You probably are not going to spend that much. Is it worth it? I don't know what's worth things to you, within your budget and within your needs as a person. That's a very individual question. 300 month mile, that's a lot for me considering. Wow. Okay. What do you think the peak age is for training? I don't really know how to answer that, Future. I don't know how to answer that. Radco, I'm not going to even read your question because you put a first name. You might as well have just said Jason or Bob. Bob recently interviewed. Well, who the fuck is Bob? Come on now. I know like 12 Alexes. Okay, Jason, you're a legend, pal. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Coach, what's the best gun for self-defense? The one that you're going to train on. The one that's there when your life is in danger. Is a 500-pound overhead press realistic, natural? Quit saying natural. You guys know there's no such thing. You mean drug-free. I mean, do you know how fat you would have to get to have any possible? Let me put it this way. Let me restart that. Let's just throw the 500-pound overhead press away. 400-pound, 405 strict press, drug-free. Do you know how fucking fat you would have to get to have any chance of doing that? Okay. Think about that for a moment. And you're going to have to be genetically gifted on top of that. Come on now. Come on. Right. Alpha Destiny recently interviewed this strong. Okay, let me step back and ask this. How do you know the person is drug free? Whoever he interviewed, I don't know who this is. How do you know they're drug free? Now, if they said that they could live 1,000 years, they would still keep progressing with no drug-free limit. What are your thoughts on this? So that's nonsense. You're eventually going to regress no matter what. Okay, there's going to be a point in your life to where you can no longer keep the gains due to various hormonal factors from aging. Could you suggest a fitness channel you believe offers genuine high quality content? What kind of topics do you and other strength coaches discuss currently? Mostly recovery. We laugh about bullshit we see. Okay, I'm actually an office worker and most of my stuff from home, and going to the gym at times is a huge time waster for me. I'd love a coach and gym set up to match my busy schedule. Yeah, I mean, in your case, that might make sense then. Who are the OG fitness YouTubers? Got Chris, the Hodge twins, and who else? A bunch of guys who are now passed. I mean, Cali Muscle, who decided he's going to go ahead and die anyways, doing crazy stuff. Have you seen Chase at least 4 or 5 overhead press in the same lift? But it's not really a true strict press. It's like a bent press he's doing. You know, it's not really the same thing. The rules of starting strength, of how they're defining the press for their competitions, isn't really a strict press, is it? It's just a different variation of a push press going the other way. Do you ever see the limit? Okay, the range of motion on your good mornings is nothing to do with degrees. It is purely a function of your hip joint. Okay, so your range of motion isn't going to be the same even if your stance changes. So you quit thinking in terms of external angles and think of internal joint angles with that. Jason, do you see Andrew Richards strict? Yes, I've seen it. Is there a single fitness person you would put your money on that they're actually drug-free? Put my money on it? Like $10 of my hard-earned money on somebody being drug-free in the industry? Colin, there's not a snowball's chance in hell. That I would bet actual money, my own money, on a fitness influencer being drug-free. Have you lost your fucking mind? That's the sort of stuff you say, oh yeah, I think they might be natty, but as long as it doesn't cost you anything. Start talking about your own money like that you work for, betting it on that? Oh, hell no. No. Not just no, but hell no. None of them in that case. If I have to lose money based on it, no. None of them, ever. Okay, Dennis Arnold. Yeah, I know who Dennis Arnold is. You said Freak 05. What's Dennis Arnold? Could you cover the trend twins in a current event? R. Kelly, you know the rules. Take the video from them that you want. Tell me why you want it when you link it in Facebook. Come on now. Scooby's definitely an OG. What's up, Coach? Would an injury hurt recovery even if it doesn't directly hold back any lifts? That's too nuanced of a question to really answer. Is it funny that all these natties are almost every one of them is bald at a young age? Coach, do you program demo deadlifts for your clients? No, I don't. If you were to predict the next phase of the social media fitness industry, where could you see it going? I have my own ideas on where I think it's going to go, but I'm not going to really discuss that. I suppose getting up over 300, 350 pounds body weight is extremely difficult. Anyways, not to mention you're going to die in your sleep most likely. Right. So, I mean, that's kind of the point. You know, people will stand there and make a big deal about being drug-free for their health, but then they'll bulk to that sort of body weight, which would be necessary for some of the strengths you guys are talking about. I mean, realistically, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Do you really think bulking over 300 pounds drug-free is comparable with a moderate amount of gear use? Like, I can tell you the gear user is going to live longer on average. A guy who's 210 and uses moderate gear but doesn't use combos that really mess up your lipid profile, doesn't use a bunch of orals, do you really think he's not going to outlive the guy who bulks up over 300 pounds fat? I mean, really? Do you think his blood work isn't going to look prettier? Which one's heart's going to give out quicker? Serious. I mean it is a serious question. Like, if you had to pick, again, you got to put your money on it. You all know the guy using a little test in Primo, test in Bolden 9. He is statistically going to outlive the guy who bulked that big. 9 out of 10 times. What is the most frequent injury you see with your clients, past and present? I don't get that many injuries with my clients who are currently clients if they've been doing what I tell them. But maybe hamstring pulls would probably be the most common one I see. Are you familiar with any of these newer guys? No, I don't know who any of those people are. What's your favorite cologne? Really wear cologne. If you struggle to get a 405 bench at 225, do you see yourself bulking up? No, I'm not going to bulk. I'm R. Kelly. The plan is to stay under 230 no matter what to get it. If it takes longer, then it takes longer. Okay. Do you think it's safe that people purchase suitable equipment and get fit at home, or should they initially engage a personal trainer? If they research for them, they can hire online coaches. They can film themselves and look at it. What are your thoughts on Sheffield? That's a place in England, right? I love you, coach. Well, I love you too, man. I love you too, brother. Hey, man, nothing but love on my channel, right? Oh, now you guys are going to discuss. It's not DHT blockers. It's 5-alpha reductase inhibitors. Coach, you still play World of Warcraft? I'm not gaming at all, Regs. My time is going into the guitar. Any time that I might have spent gaming in the past is now guitar time. I'm working on my licks. Can you dig it? What do you think is currently holding you back the most in terms of benching and squat performance? Lean tissue. I simply have to gain more muscle in the right places. Wow, what a weirdo. I don't know why all these guys seem to think, for whatever reason, something about my personality suggests that I have ever done submissive stuff in the bedroom. Kind of weird, dudes. I don't know why you guys get this weird fantasy. Lars, no. Lars, we need to be clear on that. When we're talking drugs and pharmacology, no, we don't equate a blocker with the same as some sort of enzyme inhibitor, okay? Because they're not the same thing, and you do need to understand that. That's a very important point, because it comes to same thing if you're dealing with estrogen. Do you really think a SERM, which blocks the estrogen receptor in certain tissues, is the same as an aromatase inhibitor? They have very different effects in the body. So for that purpose, yes, a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor is not the same as a DHT blocker, because they would have totally different side effects. Okay. Coach, is your level of muscle mass attainable drug-free for very genetically gifted over time? I'm currently Radco. Do the math, man. Plug my stats into a fat-free mass index calculator, then look at the data and then ask that question again. Because what do they say? A genetically gifted person could reach 25 on a fat-free mass index. Have you run my numbers yet? Estimate what you think my body fat is. You know that I'm 5'9", 225. Run the numbers. Are you following any YouTube guitar guys? I've learned some tasty licks from music as well. I'm following a few, actually. One I really like lately is actually Marty's music. He's got, I think, a very, very good channel for people who are not expert guitarists yet. Okay. All right. Do you see yourself ever trying to break your PR on the press? I don't see myself even trying to press the empty bar again. It's not worth it in terms of the injuries, right? Just the inflammation that it causes in my shoulder, it's not worth me even doing sets of 10 with the empty bar. Are there guys who've achieved my total drug-free? Yes. There are guys who have destroyed my total drug-free, who probably really are legitimately drug-free, and I won't deny that. But if we're going to talk side muscle mass, my fat-free mass index, I don't think so, unless they're pretty fat. Well, Radko, I did that video today, and I left the door open for him to reach out to me, and that's the ball's in his court. Coach, do you think it's worth the time to learn a new language? Probably not. Is the overhead press worth it to someone who just wants to get jacked and doesn't compete? Probably not. I mean, it depends. It depends on how your shoulders handle it. What is your current incline bench press max? I just started inclining again, so my best 6-rep set has been 225, all paused. I don't know exactly what my max is. I need to get that max up. I'd like to be able to incline at least 315. And I feel like if I can get there, I'd be in a good place. Is it okay for me to send you a clip of my guitar playing on Instagram? I've been trying to master. Yeah, Mike, dude. You know my Instagram, right? I've got a check mark on my Jason Blaha Instagram. It's easy to find. It's the official one. Dude, I'd love to hear you play, man. Send me over a link of you playing the guitar. Yeah. Check it out. What are your thoughts on Jesus Oliveras? Let's see if I pronounce it right. Claiming natty. Well, as a Christian, I like his first name. I can't say I've ever seen that last name before. I'm not sure. So my thoughts are, if he's up telling everybody he's natty, he's probably using steroids, but I've never heard of this person before. But it comes down to my point. Is he a fitness influencer? Then he's on steroids. Real simple. All right. Coach, I've heard other lifters on YouTube recommending pausing at the bottom of dumbbell presses wide, mainly because you can get a great stretch reflex on it. And my viewpoint is, if you can get the stretch reflex, go ahead and benefit from it. What does DHEA do for body mass? Nothing that I'm aware of. Does the angle in an incline bench really impact which muscles are activated? Yeah. The disadvantages of home gym in the garage or in the house. Takes up space. You got to buy it. I'm super concerned now what my wife will think when she sees the history on our desktop since I typed Chuck Basher. Hey man, that's between you and her, dude. Maybe you could clear your search history. You could delete that line, individual line, I'm pretty sure. Was Jeff Side ever at any point drug-free during his YouTube run? Probably not. Brief pausing doesn't eliminate stretch reflex. Subject to debate. Do you like a real low incline dumbbell press? I think that's a pretty good exercise for chest future. I think that's a good one. Coach, have you ever seen Chuck Badger? I've never seen Chuck Badger. I have unfortunately seen Chuck Badger. And just like the person who saw that earlier, I wish that I could unsee it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's just some weird shit, man. You guys need to go. Is Alex Xander Leonidas natural? Dude, quit using the word natural. Lifting weights is not natural. Living in a house with air conditioning isn't natural. You mean steroid free? No, he's not. He's a fitness influencer. Therefore, he uses steroids. It's real simple. See how easy that logic is? That prevents you from getting scammed. Just assume it as a catch-all. And I'm not saying it's literally true that every single influencer is, but statistically they are. And if you just work off that assumption, it makes it a lot harder for you to get conned and to be hoodwinked, led astray, run amok. Right? Coach, have you ever heard of this Sam Saluk dude, Coach? No. I saw that name in my live before. Someone else asked me that. And so I have now heard that name 2 times in my entire life. I didn't really hear it. I read it. No, 3. Someone else typed it. That's the 3rd time I've seen it in my entire life. Again, what's the rule? I want someone else to type out the rule. If you want me to cover current events, how do you get me to do so? Someone else, please type it out for them, since everyone knows at this point. Right? Razor. I mean, the dude's going to get banned. I had a dude just ask me to cover my body in baby oil before the stream. There are limits to which I can tolerate. I mean, at that point, I got to drop the ban hammer. It is what it is. All right. Colin Kelly can claim that all he wants, but I recall some live streams where he literally threatened to sexually abuse people who were trolling him, who were other men, in detail. In the stream, he did it multiple times back in the past. So, why are humans so weak compared to other animals? It has to do with the way our nervous systems are wired and our ability to have fine motor skills. So because we have fine motor skills, we do lose a little bit of the upper threshold. But by that same token, a chimpanzee or a gorilla will not be able to have the fine motor skills that we have. They don't have that to be able to, say, paint or draw with the skill that a human has, or to play the guitar. Those things are outside of their nervous system. They don't have that level of fine movement and motor skill. So it's the price we pay for that, right? It's a different wiring in the nervous system. Let me get rid of that. My voice. Because there's women who run around with a deep ass voice like this. Again, shows you the mindset of these people who hate on me. They all have weird sexual fantasies about me. is really sick. But you know it's true. Like, look at the stuff they say. That's sad, man. You all know there's people that pretend to hate me, but then the stuff they write, you all know they're jerking off to my stuff. It's sad, man. Weird world we live in, though. Why do some people have great muscle building genetics and others not so great? Why? Are we going to have a discussion about evolutionary biology? We're going to talk about gene flow inside the human species. I mean, you're asking me to give you a talk of gene flow. Why does 3% of the population have one gene and 97% has a different? I don't know. I guess we could have a long talk about flipping coins and random chromatid crossing over. Coach, okay, so I read the coach first. Let me start that over. What is your best muscle group genetically, coach, in your opinion? My back, easily. I don't think that's even subject to debate. I've heard it from numerous people who know me in real life. What would you consider an elite total? What I consider is irrelevant. These things are published by powerlifting federations. You can go look it up, of the exact standards by which they put each age and weight and equipment class, right? See, so notice you saying 110 kilo. That 110 kilo is not a class. 110, then you need an age class listed. Now you might mean the open, right, which is age 23 to 39. You might mean raw, but there's going to be like 4 equipment classes, because raw with wraps, single ply, multiply. Jason, if a woman takes testosterone, what will happen? Her testosterone levels will go up. Like everything else, keep in mind there's a dose-dependent response. Baser, that's like asking me, if a woman drinks alcohol, what will happen? Well, my answer would be it would depend on the woman and her individual tolerance, and it's going to depend on how much. Okay? Do you see the problem with your question? How long do you think Chuck Basher will? I'm not going to put that sort of bad juju out there, man. I did that in the past and a bunch of people died. He's the only one who lived. He's the only person who lived when I put out those predictions in the past. He's the only one who beat the predictions. A little worse for the wear, but he did beat it. I don't want to put that sort of bad juju out there again. It's not good to put that sort of energy out, right? I'm not going to explain to you about being. Every man on earth has been rejected by a woman. Get real. Every man on earth has been rejected at some point by a female. Right? I'm about to wind this down. All right. Did you get the COOF vaccine? Oh man, I don't know if I should answer this one. People are going to get all freaked out. No, I did not. All right. So I think it's time to wind this down. I hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals. And I will talk to you next time.